Instead of talking about your problems and working things out in order to avoid fights, I feel like you just isolate when it comes to, well, any relationship really, but I feel like this is heavy on, I suppose not really heavy on romantic relationships, but either way, whatever relationships that you're doing this with, it's getting you nowhere. Oops. Six of Wands reversed. You're not having a victory by doing that. You're not saving anybody's feelings. All you're doing is making matters worse. So if you are bottling up your emotions, not telling people when you feel like boundaries have been crossed, it's part of your karma. But it just keeps building up. And the more it builds up, eventually you're going to burst. Eventually it's going to be a way bigger matter than it needed to be. Tell me about the Hermit for Pisces. Christ. Okay, so what this is telling me is this is really an issue for you. Like, you feel like you got a lot of things that you need to get off your chest. So, I mean, if you got to get a counselor, or if there's a friend in your environment maybe that you could talk to, I don't suggest talking to a friend about any other relationship, but if it's, just life in general, you could. Tell me about the Hermit. But if this is a specific person, then you need to go to that person and start talking to them about what you've been hiding, what you've been bottling up, what boundaries you feel like have been crossed. You have the Two of Pentacles. You're isolating yourself from having this connection. I feel like once you start opening up to this person, you could have this. You could have this crazy bond with this person, but you're fearing a fight happening. You're fearing hurting their feelings. But you're only preventing yourself from something beautiful, What if this person actually understands you? Weird. Somebody understanding you? Tell me about faith for Pisces. Again, there's a whole bunch of cards flying out. Tell me about faith for Pisces. Why is faith here? The Empress reversed. Could be dealing with the Taurus. But I feel like what you're holding in, you feel like this person isn't putting in the effort. They're not matching your efforts. Fool at the bottom of the deck. You're ready to take that leap of faith. You're ready to trust this person with, seeing all of you. So go for it. Even if they don't understand you, you'll feel like all this weight just lifted off of your shoulder. I feel like I should have seen the Ten of Wands here. I feel like this is a lot. This has been a long time coming. You got a lot of, weight on your shoulders, a lot of stress, a lot of things you've been holding back. But it's part of your karma to start opening up. Tell me about the Knight of Swords. Five of Swords. You feel like if you open up, this person's going to leave you. There could be some inner work that needs to be done as well. I feel like you feel like you're not worthy. But this Two of Pentacles is telling me that you could be worthy. That you are worthy. You just need to open up to this person. Let them see who you really are. Queen of Wands reversed at the bottom of the deck. So that's insecurities. Tell me about the Eight of Swords for Pisces. Clarify the Eight of Swords for Pisces. The Sun reversed. Feeling burned out. And you're feeling burned out because you're holding too much in. Strength at the bottom of the deck. You could be dealing with a Leo. Tell me about the Eight of Coins. This goes hand in hand with the Empress. Again, you feel like this person isn't matching your efforts. You feel like they're not putting as much effort into the relationship as you are. But how are they supposed to know that? I mean, they should, just because, you know, they should be able to see how much effort you're putting into it and know that they should match it. But they may not know that. They may feel like they're putting in enough effort, but because you're not opening up about it, it's judgment. So that's exactly what this is. You feel like this person isn't matching your efforts. And you feel like if you open up to them, maybe you feel like if you open up to them and tell them, I need you to put in more effort to the relationship, I need you to give me more attention, maybe you feel like they're going to say you're clingy or like you're high maintenance. Don't worry about that, though. Seriously. If anybody thinks that you're too much for them, then that's not the case. You weren't too much for them. They weren't enough for you. You should never have to bring yourself down to somebody else's level. If they are at a different level than you, they should strive to be up at your level. You should never have to lower your vibrations to match somebody else. Tell me about the Tree of Life. Ten of Pentacles reversed. Seven of Swords reversed. So somebody could be feeling guilty here about maybe there was a family broken up here. I don't feel like it was your family. I feel like you were the person they left someone else for, and you're feeling guilty about that. And because you're feeling guilty about that, you feel like they're going to do it to you, maybe. Man, this is getting deep. Okay. If that's the case, you never know. It could happen someday. But here's the thing. This again has to do with how you're vibrating at somebody's level. So say you guys are together and 10 years down the road, you start drifting apart because you are vibrating at different levels, because you had transformations, you've had deaths and rebirths and are becoming a new person. And just because at one point you vibrated at the same level doesn't mean that for the rest of your lives you will. If that makes sense. But if you start stressing about the future, you're going to put yourself through that more times than you have to. So stop focusing on what could happen down the road and start living in the moment. Start, you guys are on the same level right now. You're vibrating at the same level right now. Possibly. I feel like you are. You could be, at least. Don't worry about where you're going to be at 10 years down the road. Worry about where you're at right now. If you did break up a family, it needed to be broken up anyway. There was a reason for it. The person that they were with prior stopped resonating on the same level as them. They grew apart. He no longer had the same feelings for that person that he did have in the beginning. So it's not your fault that the family's broken up. So stop feeling guilty. You just happen to be caught in the crosshairs, I feel like. So if this other person's blaming you and that's causing that, don't listen to them. They knew that their relationship was failing to begin with. And even if this person isn't telling you that, but you still feel that way anyway, you are a Pisces. You do have a good heart. You do care about other people's feelings. So I can understand, I guess, but at the same time, it's not your fault that the family was broken up. Tell me about the Ace of Wands for Pisces. Clarify the Ace of Wands for Pisces. Page of Wands. You could have, this person could have had a one-night stand with you while in the previous relationship. And that's kind of what sparked the ending of this Ten of Pentacles. But again, that's not your fault. There was a reason why he felt like he needed to step out of the relationship. I don't agree with it whatsoever. He could have broken up with his wife or girlfriend first, or husband or wife, whatever gender you are. But it's not your fault. You weren't the one in the relationship. And if you were, then, take the story however it resonates. But that relationship was dying anyway. Do I agree with how it was done? How it ended? Nope. No. I feel like he or she should have had a talk with their husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend prior to this one night stand, because they knew that relationship was dying anyway. But it's not your fault. So stop blaming yourself. And stop worrying about, is this going to happen to me down the road? Live in the moment. If it happens, it happens. Hopefully this person gets to a place where they talk to you before they step outside of the relationship. And it's a mutual cutoff, if that happens. But you thinking about what could happen 10 years down the road is only going to stress you out. So now you're going to have to go through that pain now, and you're going to have to go through that pain 10 years down the road. Whereas if you just let it go, let shit happen the way it's supposed to happen, you would only have to go through it 10 years down the road. And who knows, maybe you'll be in a better place where you won't even have to go through that. So final advice for Pisces for April 3rd through the 10th. Heart. It's time to heal. This is love, affection, and romance. So this is definitely what you have right now with this person. Open up to them. Let them come in. Let them see who you really are. Open up your heart. Break down those walls. If you're isolating yourself from this person, knock it off. Go tell them what is making you upset. Go tell them if you're worrying about this. Go tell them if you're feeling guilty about breaking up a family. Go tell them. This is your partner. You two are supposed to be each other's best friends. You're supposed to be able to tell each other anything. So go tell them anything, and you can have this. You can have a deep connection and love and romance.